Hi, my name is Rod Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome to another edition of How to Build Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. I'm Rod Khleif, and I am thrilled you're here. And I'm honored at today's guest. His name is Mike Stohler, and Mike's a former commercial airline pilot. But why I'm honored is he's also a Navy veteran. He's done 1,300 multifamily doors on his own, and now his focus has shifted to hotels, and we're going to talk about that as well. But really excited to have you on the show, brother. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Rod. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you. So why don't you take a minute and talk a little bit about your background? That's always a good place to start because I know there's a lot more than what I just said. So maybe just to really expand on who you are.
Sure. I come from a small town in Indiana. And, I got started in the real estate business, kind of like what probably a lot of your listeners, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Mm-hmm. That's the book and got us excited. And then immediately saved up the money, went to Vegas to a seminar. That's kind of like how everyone does it, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the issue. I got started what I call the PG, which is pre-Google days. And for us older guys and gals out there, the easy part was buying the asset. The hard part was, okay, now what? Right. Okay. I couldn't Google anything. I couldn't do anything. There's forms. What do you mean 5-day notice? What is that? You don't know how to do what you don't know how to do. Right. And it failed miserably.
But what failed miserably? I'm sorry.
Well, I did.
Oh, you did. Okay. Talk about that. Expand on that a little bit. So I think you started to say before we started recording something about an 8-unit or something. Tell us that story. Let's the good, the bad, the ugly.
What we had was I had a 4-plex and 4 singles, and their houses, and altogether 8 units. Mm-hmm. And I bought them. I can't believe I fell into this. I just happened to find someone. And for your listeners that maybe don't know how to buy some things, I didn't know this, but I went to there's a local college in the bigger town, and they get willed real estate.
Oh, yeah. It's donations. Okay? Yeah, I got one house that way too. Yeah. Okay.
So look for them. They don't want to be a landlord.
Right.
And here's the thing, and this will be another subject in this talk is, I wish I knew what I had and then other ways, I didn't have a mentor. So I actually got these, they seller finance. They're very good at taking money. Right. All of these units seller financing.
Wow.
And
this was when and where was this? What year approximately? In
90.
And where?
This was in, Anderson, Indiana, small town, Indiana. And it was in 97.
Okay.
Around 97.
All right. Love it. All right. Yeah. I remember, now you can go on Google and drive down the street on Google Earth and go to the corner and see what the businesses are, look at the cars in the parking lot. And back then you actually had to get in your damn car or even get on a plane to go see what was for sale. Right. And if you wanted to see what was for sale, you had to actually get a book in the mail or go out and do it like you did. But that's a great tip. Now, did you say that was a college that got donated it, or what was that institution again? College.
Yeah,
okay.
It was college, Anderson College.
Got it. Yeah, I actually got one from a hospital. Same thing. They got, it was a donation and we ended up getting it. They had rented it for a while and realized they didn't know what the hell they were doing and got rid of it too. Okay, well, please continue. So you got the seller financing.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we didn't have any money. We're just first year marriage. Okay. So in this seminar it says, no matter what, you buy houses. So what do? We put down payments on our credit cards.
Oh yeah. Same. The numbers made sense. Even 18% interest didn't matter. put them on. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I get excited because this is resonating with me.
It is. And, that's that big old seminar days back in the day. Well, okay, I get these 8 units. They're emotional buys. I didn't do any inspections. I didn't do any of this, all the things that we're supposed to do. I was like, oh my God, I have 8 units. Oh my, here's my credit card, and you jump in. And then it's like, oh, okay. When was this house built? And okay, and then it's like, oh my God, now there's plumbing problem. Now there's this, and how long has it been sitting empty? And now there's a couple that have tenants already. Well, they leave. I'm like, okay, it's 1997. How do I find tenants? Well, I guess I put an ad in the newspaper, so there's all these things. But anyway, fast forward, I didn't know what a lease was. It's not like I could Google and download a lease. I didn't know I didn't know any of the notices. I had someone stopped paying. It's like, well, what do I do? Right. So it failed, and I couldn't make the payments. I had the credit card payments. I had these payments. And because I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have someone to reach out to. Right. I gave them all back.
No kidding. Wow. College got them back. Bummer. They made a little money on you, but
they made a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that, we sold our house, moved in.
Wow. With, wow. So you got hit parents. Too. Yeah.
We got hit.
How long were you then soured on real estate in general for a bit, or yes, you're nodding. Okay. So when did you circle back, or is there an interim story as well?
Yeah. Well, the interim story is I was like, well, I'm just going to pursue the airline pilot thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And
who'd you fly for, may I ask?
Yeah, it was through Continental.
Oh, God, this is crazy. My dad worked for Continental for 36 years. That's crazy.
Out of Houston.
Wow. Yeah. The Golden Bird with the brass ass. That's what they call those planes, because they had my dad, I'm not kidding. Here's an interesting story for you guys that haven't heard it. So my dad worked for Continental Airlines for 36 years. He loved that company. He got to meet Six, the CEO that started it. And if we saw a plane go by, he'd stop and he'd make us put our hand over our hearts while the plane went by. That's how much he loved the company. Now, here's what's crazy. Okay. He worked for that company for 36 years and he got laid off. Okay. Yeah. There's no job security, my friends. The only job security is between your ears. Anyway, I just was wondering if you were going to say Continental, which is why I asked the question. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Yeah. I was Houston based, and and it was fun while it lasted.
Right.
Fast forward, boy, about 10 years.
Okay. So 2007. 2007,
2008, during the crash.
Interesting timing. Okay, during the crash. Okay, so
right at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's when I'm like, okay, and I started reading books. Google's now have arrived. I have knowledge, and I said, you know what? I need to learn.
Right.
I need a mentor. And I actually, for a short period of time, actually worked for a property management group to learn.
Fantastic idea. Awesome.
Okay. And I took forms.
Okay. Yeah, of course you did. Yeah. By the way, guys, property management has tons of forms. Okay. And that's why, it's a bit of a pain in the ass if you don't hire one out of the gate and to kind of learn from. I just remember creating dozens of forms, from inspection forms to, of course, the leases, the eviction notices, and the leases, obviously, as you go through an eviction court and you get your butt kicked because something wasn't quite right on the lease. So the leases get modified every year as well as you're progressing. But anyway, okay. So you went and worked for a property management company.
Yeah. And just to okay, how do you do this?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Quit. And then I'm like, okay, here we go.
You quit the airlines.
Well, I quit the property management group, and I got injured.
Oh, okay.
Tore my forearm up during a landing in Houston.
Wow.
Everyone survived, but it was one of those.
You bounced your way down the runway.
It was a Navy carrier landing.
Wow.
We hit some wind shear, And at
Wow.
600 feet, it snapped so hard that it actually buckled my forearm. The plane
Wow.
snapped so hard.
Jeez.
And I brought it back down, slammed it onto the ground, and
Wow.
that was it.
Glad I wasn't in the back on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
We all needed to drink after that one.
Yeah, I'll bet. Wow. That was a great airline, just as an aside. I mean, I used to fly internationally because we got all those passes. I remember flying around the world for $88 and stopping at 8 places. So, Tel Aviv, Frankfurt, London, Paris. And then once we got back to the States, we get on Continental and the airline was just so colorful and happy and was just different. I'm sure you remember that too. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So you quit the property management company. This is now 08, 09. When is this?
Yeah.
This is interesting because this adds value to everybody, even though you're staking a little longer on your story, but I'm interrupting a lot too, which I'm known for. But anyway, but this is great nuggets, guys. I mean, the fact that he went and worked for a property management company, learned the business, recognizing the value of mentors, it's critical, just critical. I mean, if I'd had one, good Lord, I'd be on the back of my yacht right now if I had one back in the day. So, all right. So you quit the management company.
Quit the management company and jumped in. I said, you know what, let's go soft. And now we're seeing values because of the crashes. Got a fourplex. Okay.
Nice.
Fourplex.
Nice.
And I think it was like $60,000. Now I have money. I don't have to put things on credit cards. I think it was $60,000 down or something like that. And boom, fourplex. And then boom, eightplex, then another eightplex. And then I just started because of, you can wallow in depressions and things like that, or you can take advantage of situations.
Oh yeah, I was the one wallowing for a bit because I don't know if you know my story, but I lost a tremendous amount of money then. So it didn't last too long, but you perfect freaking timing, brother. I mean, perfect timing for you to be buying then. So how were you buying? Were you financing them? Were they seller? Were they
everything.
Bank financed?
Everything.
Were they just all bank financed?
Bank finance, seller finance, my financing. I did a portfolio loan. I did, it was everything.
Right. Was this 2009, 2010 already, or where were? Because it was really hard to borrow money late 8 and 9. So I didn't know. Yeah. Okay.
The first fourplex, we actually were able to get financing. And then the others, that's where I was doing the seller financing because now we're getting into 28 units, 50 units. We're starting to get into some bigger things,
right?
And actually, in Phoenix during that time, I'm sure.
Is that where you were in Phoenix buying? In Phoenix?
Now we're in Phoenix.
Oh wow! Okay,
hot market.
Yeah, fantastic market.
And
but it got crushed in 08, 09. So there was a lot of opportunity there, just like Phoenix, Arizona, Florida, and California and Nevada got their butts kicked. Those were probably the heaviest hit. And so, man, perfect timing. So, okay.
Perfect timing.
You got seller finance on 50 unit properties, 28 unit
28
properties?
units. Yeah. Because here's what happened was when the bank, for your listeners, when you get into the commercial side, the commercial loans, there's terms. It's a 5-year, 8-year, 10-year, 7-year, whatever. It's a term.
Let me explain that. So like in the residential space, you might have a loan with a balloon, but that's kind of what we're talking about here. Is you have an amortization. It could be 30 years, but they call it a term, and it's going to be like he said, 5, 10, thereabouts. Okay. Yeah.
So what happened was I was concentrating on. I was looking at these loans that were coming up at 5 years, 7 years that were hitting during this time period. And because
you went the records and found those loans is what you're saying. Gotcha. That's you had to learn that from somebody. That's not something you probably, you learned that at a seminar because I remember him teaching that stuff. Yeah. So you go to the county, you see when loans are coming due and people are freaking out because the values have dropped. They can't refinance them. They can't get money. And you stepped in. Oh, I love it, man.
Then I stepped in and said, okay, you're behind 2 months. I'm paying you up. You don't get foreclosed on. And on one of them, I actually did I forget what you call it now, but where I just take over the payment.
Yeah, subject to. You did a subject to. Yeah, we did that on a lot of houses. It actually became illegal. It became illegal because there were so many scammers out there taking over loans and not making any payments. It was called equity skimming back in in the crash, and they sent people to jail for it. But yeah, no, we did a lot of those as well. Yep. Okay, so you learned a lot of these strategies to go out there and buy these things. And let me ask you a question: if somebody was behind on their payments, how did you manage more effectively, or how were you able to turn those things around? Talk about that a little bit, because, was it a management thing?
No. Well, sometimes yes, because you were talking about these were California owners.
Okay, buying in Arizona. Gotcha.
And during that time period prior to the crash, they were just throwing money. Right. Sight unseen. They were just here's. Boom, boom.
Guys, this is a real warning flag, because you see these guys out there doing these turnkey properties that are in other states. That's a nightmare if they, if they're not great at the management piece, because that's the hardest piece. And if you're 1,000 miles away, it is a magnified nightmare. And that's what was happening. So you were able to capitalize on that frustration with these out of town owners. Yep. Love it.
And then some of them, though, actually were performing extremely well. Okay. But the bank would not refinance.
Interesting.
And I was like going, oh my God, here's 100% occupied cash cow, and they cannot get, because the banks just
So how did you finance? Or how did you purchase that type of a property? Because I mean, if they're not going to refinance, then the loan can't do.
Yeah, I put in the difference and took it over from the bank.
Okay, so you went directly to the bank, and the bank.
I went directly to the bank.
Interesting.
And they said, no, it only appraises for $1 million.
Oh, I see.
And they owe 1.2. And I'm like, okay, well, here's 200,000.
Oh, perfect. Gotcha. Perfect.
So you had to think.
So guys, why I'm letting this go as long as I am is because there's a contraction going to happen here at some point. To think otherwise is naive, especially with some of the stuff that's coming down from, in this administration trying to, damage, to pay for these trillions of dollars worth of relief funds. And through some of these things they've proposed, like the 1031 exchange, although I think that's off the table, but that and the capital gains changes and stuff. I'm letting this go because these are some great strategies if that happens again. Okay. So, and real estate goes through cycles. It's inevitable that we're going to have a contraction at some point. And let's hope it's not as bad as 08 and 09. Although if it is, there will be incredible opportunity. Inflation is a given, of course, but inflation is going to help landlords with fixed debt because rent's going to go up. But these are some great purchase strategies in a down market. Well, really in any market, but particularly in a down market. That's why I'm letting this very interesting bio go as long as I am. So you got seller finance deals. You did deals where you went directly to the bank around, and at the seller's, approval and interesting. Now, did you buy any directly from banks at that time?
I did the short sale.
Okay, short sales.
I did it through short sales.
Okay,
directly to the bank. That was to me. That's where everyone was going.
Oh, was it? Okay.
And that was, to me, it was like there's just too many people throwing money.
Sure.
I went to a couple, and they were bidding.
You're talking about auctions.
Auctions.
Okay. What I meant was actually going directly to the banker. That's actually a pretty effective strategy where you build a relationship with a commercial lender, the commercial loan officer at the bank. But I mean, if it needs to be a tight relationship, so you're the go-to guy or gal if there's a problem asset that an owner is struggling with because they don't want to take it back. If they can do something, so they'll let you know. Privacy be damned. They'll let you know. Go call this guy, see if you can buy it. And I know a lot of people that did it that way, but you went to auctions. Yeah. And
I went to auctions.
At a certain point in time, those auctions did go crazy. Okay?
Yeah, it was crazy.
There were phenomenal deals early on, but towards the end, it was like, because what was happening is there were huge venture capital firms coming in and buying literally thousands of houses to rent. That was a strategy. Zillow, I think, is in the news right now. They bought tons of them and they're struggling with them right now, believe it or not. That was just literally in the news a couple of days ago. So anyway, talk about any other ways that you bought, because this is a fascinating conversation. Or did we cover all of them?
Well, I'm trying to think. A couple of them, I didn't get into syndications until I into the hotels, but I did bring on some JVs, some joint venture type things.
Good. Yeah.
And that was, finally I'm getting real mentors. I'm getting real people that care, people that I can email, people that I can ask questions. Right. And one of the things was like, hey, go into a joint venture. And, a joint venture is like, hey, do you have an LLC? I have an LLC. Kind of put them together in this little form. It's a lot cheaper than doing syndication paperwork. Right.
The only caveat is both parties have to be active in some fashion. If you take money from somebody and you do all the work with them doing nothing, you need to syndicate. Now there's, and I mean, I did back. I mean, again, this is, deja vu for me as well, because I'd literally bought millions of dollars worth of property, 50-50 with partners back in it, in the 88 crash. And they put up the money. They signed on debt very often. I did all the work and everybody was happy, So yeah, this is okay. So JV's awesome. Okay. And did you do any larger stuff that way? Any larger stuff on JV?
I did. And that's how I kind of broke into the bigger things, because towards the end, I was buying, $2.5-3 million assets, and you needed, $1 million. You needed this.
How did you meet those JV partners? Just to give listeners advice on how to build those relationships.
Yeah, everybody, relationships. This is real estate, and there's another R right in with real estate, and it's called relationships. And you have to. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care what. Go to your local RIA. That's a real estate investor clubs. They
have meetups now, and it's the same thing. I mean, meetups, groups, right?
Meetup groups. I joined social clubs, charity clubs. Like I'm a Rotarian, and you might think, Rotarians a bunch of 80-year-olds sitting around, doing this. It's not. They have that, but there's a lot of money in Rotaries. There's a lot of money in charity organizations. I became on the board of different veteran groups.
Oh, wow.
We have charity things. And then I started golfing.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
And that's where I've met, like, hey, it's Tuesday at 9:00. What are you golfing for? You're too young to be retired. What do you do?
Start talking business, right?
Start talking. Hey, here we go.
Yeah.
And so that's where you start getting these JVs. But then it's just friends of this. And hey, I got someone who might be interested. And it's that whole network. Be kind, be happy to everybody, because you never know whose friend has a friend that has $5 million just going to give it to you for a JV.
And don't ever judge a book by its cover either. Let me tell you, a woman that loaned me millions drove a little Subaru, and you wouldn't think she had what to pee in, and loaned me millions. Fascinating. Okay. And so okay, well, let's shift. This has been really. I hope you guys got value from that, and that's why I wanted to dig in on that a little bit, and really brought back a lot of memory for me. But So you've got 1,300 doors. I mean, which is or did at least at one point, and now you've shifted to hotels. When did you make that shift?
I bought my first hotel in 2017.
Okay, so even pre-COVID, then. Okay. So why hotels? Were you playing the game Monopoly too much, and you thought that?
It's funny you say that, because people now call me Mr. Monopoly.
Really? Okay.
I have a lot of single family homes, multifamily. Now I have hotels. And I just need the one on Boardwalk, and then I'm set.
That's awesome. So do you buy flagged hotels, or do you flag them after you buy them?
No, we may change the flag.
Okay.
But we buy I like flag because it's
By the way, for those who don't know what that means, that's big name brands, like the Hyatts, the Hiltons, the Embassy, whatever. I mean,
it's not the independent mom and pop, it's called a flag. It's a franchise, everyone. It's like buying a Subway.
How did you finance the hotels? Because right now there's actually a play converting hotels, believe it or not, to multifamily.
There is.
There is.
Sure. And I'm thinking down the road,
Sure.
All right, everybody. So here's another tip for you. Okay. If you want to get into a space, and the reason why I got into a hotel is Phoenix started getting stupid crazy with cap rates and everything. It's everybody and their brother outside of the state was buying cash on scene. It was kind of like, okay, here we go again, 2006, 2007.
Oh, yeah.
And our cap rates are like sub 4 now, they're like around that 4. And I'm like, I just don't want to, you can make it work. But again, a friend of a friend of a friend has about 15 years experience in hotels. So here's what I did. I had no diddly about hotels. So I went to this guy, and this is what you can do if you want to get into the larger multifamily, you want to get into some space.
Any asset class, right? This will work for any asset class, right?
I approached this guy and said, you know what? I've got the money. Go find me a hotel, and I will let you run the operations. Okay. I'll give you a small property management fee. But here's the thing. I'm not going to give you salary, but I'm going to give you something to strive for. I'm going to give you a piece of the ownership at the back end. Okay. And that could be now worth millions to him.
Sure.
But there's one caveat. You're going to teach me every step of the way. I'm going to be, your little guy, your shadow on every aspect of the acquisition and what you're doing all the way up through it. That's how I got into hotels, and that's how I learned.
What a great strategy. So you offered to buy the asset. It could be self-storage, could be mobile home parks, could be office, industrial. You did a hotel. You found somebody that was an expert. You said, hey, here's a free piece of this deal to now, did he run it the whole time? You owned it? Was that the deal?
You
still got it. Okay.
And we still own it. And it's all in the paperwork. In order for him to keep that piece on the back end, he still has to do the operations. He still, if he leaves, he doesn't
get the back end anymore. Gotcha. No, that's a great deal for him, frankly, and what a fantastic way to learn. So, the obvious question is for me is how did you weather COVID?
Great question. Yes. It's here's the difference.
It had to suck. I mean, I saw hotels that were like ghost towns, big ones. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sure they're all changing hands like crazy. So
here's the difference. I'll give a couple quick points.
Okay.
Depends on the type of hotel. Okay. The ones that did well during COVID were the limited service. Limited service meaning no frills.
Gotcha. Maybe breakfast in the morning and that's it.
And free Wi-Fi and they're gone.
Right. Okay.
Because what the truck drivers, all these people now were traveling via the road and they wanted to stop for a night and go. Okay. They go to these limited services. These big resorts all shuttered, or these big full service, because they're very heavy on restaurants,
amenities,
bars, amenities,
right?
Business meetings, conference rooms,
right?
They had tens and tens of thousands of square foot now that's empty, plus all this overhead. Limited service and extended stay. There's very little debt. There's not a lot going on. It's a very simple platform.
Got it. No, that makes complete sense, and got it. So what is the average door count on the hotels that you get? Typically, what's the range?
Sub 100.
So under 100 doors. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
We keep them simple.
Like I'm visualizing these Hampton Inns where they're like 2 or 3 stories, like a long rectangle, and I was actually thinking about doing hotels to convert to assisted living. but the fire specs were, unless it was newer, hallways weren't wide enough. The water the water sprinkler system has to be enhanced because you've got to have time to get them out. And so I never pulled the trigger on that, but I know there's a play converting to multifamily. I know people. I think I've got a couple students that are doing it actually right now. I don't have detail, but okay. So are you looking at these hotels strictly as a cash flow play? Is there some other agenda? Tell me what it is.
No, hotels are not like a monthly cash flow play.
Okay.
You get it at it's more the end.
Okay.
Hotels,
So it's a buy and sell when you sell.
It's a buy and sell, and you get it when you sell because of the appreciation, and it's a business that sits on top of real estate. So you have two appreciable assets.
Gotcha. So the land could ultimately maybe be worth more in the hotel with a different use.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, in commercial real estate, use is something that's very interesting because it can change over the years, and you can have a piece of property that's got a decent building on it, but it's not the highest and best use for that property, and they will scrape it to put other things up. I know you've seen it. So become that's something to have a lot of fun with and learn with. Well, listen, buddy, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on. You gave some great ninja tricks for buying assets, particularly in a down market as well. Really any market, but definitely in a down market. And again, guys, there's going to be a contraction. It's not something to fear. It's something to get excited about because with crisis comes opportunity. There will be incredible opportunities. Get in cash as much as you can. I'm getting in as much cash as I can right now. And I also pre-frame my investors that, not to be afraid when it happens, because the news, don't get me started on the fake news, but they'll be saying, oh, real estate will suck for 10 years. And, and that's what they were saying back in 08 and 9, which scared everybody. And so, very few people, not as, many people that could have took advantage of it. And so anyway, well, listen, it's been a real pleasure to meet you, Mike. I appreciate you coming on the show, brother. And again, thank you for your service, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345, and we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345.